The noise in the mess hall didn't fade slowly. It died. Forks stopped mid-air. Conversation snapped shut. Even the air felt heavier, like it knew something bad was about to happen. Maya Chen stayed seated. She didn't move when the shadow fell across her table. She didn't look up when the heavy steps stopped right behind her. Only when a low, rough voice growled did she finally raise her eyes. "You are sitting where you do not belong, human." Vex of the Krell stood over her, tall, broad, built like something designed only for killing. His scales reflected the overhead lights. His claws tapped against the floor, slow and deliberate, a threat wrapped in patience. Maya glanced at the empty seats around her. One by one, cadets were already backing away. Trays scraped, chairs toppled. No one wanted to be close when a Krell decided to prove dominance. She looked back at him and spoke calmly. "I sat down first." That was it. No fear, no apology. A ripple of shock moved through the room. Vex leaned closer. His breath was hot and sharp, smelling of raw meat. "This academy belongs to the strong. You are not strong." Maya placed her fork down gently, very gently. "And yet," she said, "I'm still here." The instructors had noticed by now. Commander Thrun was halfway out of his seat, his hand hovering near the weapon at his side. Everyone knew what was coming. The Krell's crest darkened, a dangerous color. "Last warning," Vex said. "Move." Maya smiled. It wasn't big, it wasn't friendly. It was the kind of smile that didn't reach the eyes. "Nice try." Then she picked up her fork and went back to eating. For half a second, Vex froze. No one had ever ignored him before. Then rage took over. He roared, sound echoing off the walls, and swung. What happened next was so fast, most cadets missed it. One moment Maya was sitting, the next she was behind him. Her hand locked onto the base of his tail. She applied pressure in a very specific place. Vex collapsed. Not dramatically, not loudly. His legs simply stopped working. The room went silent again, but this time it was different. "Sit down," Maya said casually. "Eat your lunch." She released him and returned to her seat. Vex lay there, shaking, his pride burning hotter than his pain. When he finally stood, he didn't look at her. He just walked away. Commander Thrun approached slowly, studying her like a puzzle that suddenly mattered. "That," he said, "was not beginner knowledge."
Maya shrugged. He started it. The whispers began instantly. "Humans are weak. Humans don't fight like that. What else is she hiding?" Maya ignored them. She finished her meal, stood up, and walked out like nothing had happened. But deep inside, she knew one thing for certain. This was only the beginning. Because somewhere in the academy, alarms were already being tested, and Maya Chen was about to be tested for real. Maya didn't enjoy attention. That was the first thing people got wrong about her. As she walked back to her quarters, she could feel eyes on her from every direction. Whispers followed like shadows. Some were afraid, some were curious, a few were angry. None of them mattered. The academy corridors were wide and quiet at this hour. Built for dozens of species, the walls curved instead of forming sharp corners. Neutral design, neutral ground. Neutral never lasted long. Maya's room was small, barely enough space for a bed, a locker, and a desk. She shut the door behind her and leaned against it, closing her eyes. Only then did her hands start to shake, not from fear, from memory. She forced her breathing to slow, the way she'd been taught. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Control first, emotion later. The mirror across the room reflected a young woman with short black hair and tired eyes. There was a thin scar along her jaw, easy to miss if you weren't looking for it. She looked at it longer than usual. Her comm unit chirped. "Command Thni, report to my office, now." She expected that. The top floor of the central tower felt colder than the rest of the academy. The windows stretched from floor to ceiling, showing obstacle courses, training fields, and combat arenas below. Commander Thni stood waiting. "Sit," he said. Maya obeyed. "You knew where to grab him," the commander said without wasting time. "That pressure point is not public knowledge." "I study," replied Maya. "You also hide." That landed harder. Thni tapped the air, pulling up her file. Scores floated between them. Near-perfect written exams, high physical potential, and strangely average combat evaluations. "You are capable of far more than you show, so why pretend otherwise?" Maya met his gaze. "Because being visible gets you killed." Silence followed. "Explain," Thni said. "Humans are already disliked here," Maya said calmly. "If I stand out, I become a problem. Problems get removed."
"You came to the most dangerous academy in the galaxy," Thrawn replied. "Hiding makes no sense. It makes perfect sense if survival is the goal." The commander studied her for a long moment. "You remind me of someone," he said quietly. Maya's jaw tightened. "A human officer," Thrawn continued. "Brilliant, stubborn, always thinking ahead." "What was her name?" Maya asked, already knowing the answer. "Captain Sarah Chen." The room tilted. "That was my mother," Maya said. Thrawn's expression changed. Shock, regret, something heavier. "She saved my unit during the Frontier Wars," he said. "Held a corridor alone so civilians could escape." "And she died," Maya said flatly. "Yes." They didn't speak for several seconds. "I didn't come here to be exceptional," Maya finally said. "I came here to wait." "To wait for what?" Thrawn asked. "For the past to catch up." Outside the window, the academy lights flickered as evening drills began. Maya stood. "If that's all, sir." Thrawn nodded slowly. "For now." She left before the silence broke her. Back in the corridor, alarms began their routine test, low, distant, harmless. Maya stopped walking because something about the sound felt wrong, too sharp, too urgent. She turned toward the window just as the sky outside flashed red. And in that moment, Maya understood. The past wasn't coming quietly. The alarm changed tone. That was how Maya knew. Training alarms were controlled, predictable. This one wasn't. It screamed through the academy like something alive, sharp and urgent, cutting through walls and bone. "All cadets to emergency stations. This is not a drill." Thrawn's voice followed, stripped of ceremony and calm. "This is not a drill." The corridors exploded into motion. Cadets poured out of rooms, some shouting, some frozen, some already running. Boots slammed against the floor. Doors hissed open and shut. Fear spread fast, faster than any species. Maya moved without hesitation. She reached the armory as chaos took shape. Weapons racks emptied at random. Instructors barked orders that barely landed. Cadets shoved past each other, instincts overriding training. She grabbed a plasma rifle, checked the charge, secured a vest, and turned, just in time to see Vex slam a smaller Aquarian into the floor. The Aquarian's breathing mask cracked. That was a death sentence.
"Move," Vex snarled. "The weak don't slow the strong." Maya dropped her rifle. Every head turned. She seized Vex's arm and twisted, hard, not enough to break it, enough to make the point clear. "Help him," she said. Vex hissed. "Why would I?" She leaned in, voice low. Because if he dies, I make sure you feel it first. For a second, he tested her grip. Then he reached for a spare respirator and tossed it to the Aquarian. The cadet gasped as air returned. Maya released Vex and retrieved her rifle. Outside, the sky burned. 3 warships tore through the atmosphere, old but deadly. Dropships peeled away and slammed into academy grounds like falling knives. The ground shook. "This is an invasion!" someone shouted. No one corrected them. Krell warriors poured from the ships, wearing scavenged armor, moving with purpose. Not random attackers, not pirates. Maya saw the symbol on their armor and felt her blood turn cold. A claw-shaped mark. Old, hated, supposedly destroyed. Keelar extremists. The same group her mother had died fighting. This wasn't chance. This was revenge. Weapons fire erupted across the courtyard. Explosions tore through training grounds. Cadets fought back, clumsy at first, then desperate. Maya didn't panic. She watched. They weren't spreading out. They weren't trying to take control. They were pushing inward, toward the central tower, toward Commander Throne. Her comm crackled. "Cadet Chen, fall back with the others." "No," Maya said. "They're here for you." Static, then Throne's voice strained. "Confirmed. Targeted strike." Maya's grip tightened. "Who's leading them?" she asked. A pause. "Warlord Kree," Throne said quietly. "He survived Keltar Station." Maya stopped moving. Kree. The name burned. The one who led the assault. The one who stood when her mother fell. "This is my fight," Maya said. "Cadet, that is an order." She cut the channel.
The central tower loomed ahead, smoke pouring from shattered entrances. Bodies lay scattered across the ground. Maya stepped over them. Her rifle felt heavy. She dropped it. 2 knives slid into her hands instead. She breathed once. Then she walked into the fire. Because the monster who killed her mother was inside that tower, and Maya Chen had waited 9 years for this moment. Inside the tower, everything smelled like burning metal. Emergency lights painted the halls red, turning familiar rooms into something hostile. Doors were torn apart, walls were scorched. The academy, this place of rules and discipline, had been violated. Maya moved upward. She didn't rush, she listened. Every sound told a story. Heavy boots meant Krell. Slower steps meant wounded. Screams meant she was too late for someone. She followed the deepest noise, the center of the storm. The first warrior saw her and laughed. "A human?" he said. "They send prey now?" She didn't answer. She threw a knife. It struck cleanly between his neck plates. He dropped before his weapon fired. The second warrior reacted faster, raising his rifle. Maya used the falling body as cover, closed the distance, and cut low. His leg gave out. She finished him before he hit the floor. The third hesitated. That hesitation killed him. She stepped over their bodies and kept moving. Floor by floor she climbed. Each fight was faster than the last, cleaner. Her body remembered things her mind tried to forget. Training at dawn, blood on steel, her mother's voice correcting her stance. At the top floor, the doors were gone. Commander Thren stood inside his office, bleeding, holding a ceremonial blade that wasn't meant for war. 3 Krell warriors circled him. Behind them stood Kree. He was larger than the others, darker, scarred with symbols of past victories. His presence bent the room around him. His eyes locked on to Maya. Recognition sparked. "The ghost's child," he said. I wondered if you would come." Maya stepped forward. "Did she beg?" she asked. Cree laughed. "Never. We shot her, cut her. She kept fighting." Maya's hands were steady. "Good," she said. "I'd hate to be disappointed." She moved. The first warrior died in seconds. The second tried to flank. Predictable. She took his throat. The third backed away, fear finally breaking through loyalty. Cree watched calmly.
"Your mother was magnificent," he said. "It took many of us to end her." Maya stopped in front of him. "She was protecting people," she said. "I'm not." Cree attacked. His weapon hummed with lethal energy. She dodged, rolled, struck. Her blade glanced off heavy armor. He countered, sending her crashing into the wall. Pain exploded through her ribs. She stood anyway. Cree advanced, confident. "You fight well, little human, but you lack the will to finish." Maya reached into her vest and pulled out a small injector. Cree's eyes widened. "You cheat!" She smiled, this time fully. "My mother fought fair," Maya said. "I don't." She threw it. The injector struck his chest and discharged. Cree roared as the toxin spread, his strength collapsing in on itself. He fell to his knees. Maya leaned close. "This is for her," she whispered. She didn't kill him quickly. She turned away. Behind her, Cree screamed. Commander Than watched her with something like understanding. "It's done," Maya said. Outside, the fighting was ending, but inside her, something else had finally stopped. Revenge was finished, but the consequences were just beginning. The tower was too quiet. That was the first thing Maya noticed. Moments ago, the halls had been filled with screams, weapons fire, and chaos. Now there was only smoke, flickering lights, and the distant sound of emergency crews moving in. Cree lay on the floor behind her. He wasn't screaming anymore. Maya didn't look back. Commander Than lowered his blade slowly. His armor was damaged, his movements stiff with pain, but his eyes stayed sharp. "It's over," he said. "Yes," Maya replied. "They won't come again." Medical teams rushed in, moving around them with practiced urgency. Wounded cadets were lifted onto stretchers. Instructors gave reports. Names were called. Some answered, some didn't. Maya stood still in the middle of it all. Her hands were still shaking, not from fear, not from injury, from the sudden absence of purpose. For 9 years, everything in her life had pointed toward this moment. Every class, every choice, every night she couldn't sleep. And now the target was gone. No more waiting, no more planning, no more enemy. Throne watched her carefully. "You planned for this." "I prepared," Maya said. "There's a difference." "You withheld information," he said. "You broke regulations. You used an illegal weapon." "I saved lives," she replied, "including yours." He didn't argue. Instead, he sighed, a sound heavy with age and memory. "Your mother would have hated this," he said quietly. Maya looked at him. She would have understood. Silence passed between them. Finally, Throne nodded. "You're probably right." Outside the tower, dawn was breaking. Smoke drifted upward into a sky slowly turning blue. The academy grounds were damaged, scarred, but standing. They had survived. Casualties were fewer than expected. Cadets had fought together, species that had barely tolerated each other days ago. Something had changed. Word would spread. It always did. "Come with me," Throne said. They walked through the ruined halls together. No one stopped them. No one challenged her. Some cadets stared. Some looked away. Respect had replaced disbelief. They reached the medical wing. Vex was there, seated on a recovery bench, his wounds being treated. When he saw Maya, he stiffened. "You could have let me die," he said. "Yes,"
Maya replied. Why didn't you? She thought about it. Because survival isn't just about strength, it's about who you protect. Vex lowered his eyes. I was wrong about humans. So were a lot of people, she said. Later, alone again, Maya sat on the steps outside the tower and watched the sun rise fully over the academy. For the first time in years, she didn't feel driven. She felt empty. And that scared her more than any enemy ever had. Because when revenge ends, a harder question remains. Who are you when the fight is over? The inquiry began 2 days later. Maya stood alone in a circular chamber, hands relaxed at her sides. No restraints, no guards, just a ring of instructors and council observers watching her, like a strange equation. Commander Throne spoke first. Cadet Maya Chen, you are charged with violating Academy protocol, withholding intelligence, and deploying an illegal weapon. Maya nodded once. Accurate. No excuses, no speeches.
That surprised them. You do not deny the charges? One council member asked. No, Maya said. I deny the idea that they were mistakes. A low murmur passed through the room. Snay raised a hand. Silence returned. Explain, he said. Maya took a breath. For 9 years, I lived with one fact, she said. The people who killed my mother were still alive. I knew they would come back. People like that always do. You made yourself bait, another voice said. Yes. That put this academy at risk. No, Maya replied. It prepared the academy. She looked around the room, meeting every gaze. If I had spoken sooner, the threat would have scattered. They would have waited, hit softer targets, civilian stations, training worlds. This way, they came where we could stop them. Silence again. One of the observers leaned forward. And the weapon? Maya didn't hesitate. I would use it again. That landed hard. Because I don't believe honor means fighting fair when innocent lives are on the line, she continued. My mother believed in holding the line. I believe in ending the threat. Snay studied her for a long time. You've spent years pretending to be less than you are, he said. Why stop now? Maya's voice softened. Because I'm tired. That was the truth. I hid because I was waiting for revenge, waiting for closure. That's over now. She straightened. I don't want to be a ghost anymore. The council withdrew to deliberate. The chamber felt colder without them. Snay stayed. You know they won't expel you, he said. I know, Maya replied, but they won't trust me either. No, he agreed, they won't. She met his eyes. I can live with that. Minutes passed, then the council returned. Their decision was simple. No expulsion, formal reprimand, restricted status lifted, and one final condition. You will no longer underperform, the lead observer said. You will train honestly, fully. Maya nodded. Agreed. When she left the chamber, the academy felt different, not hostile, aware. Word spread fast. Not rumors this time, facts. Cadets stopped whispering. They watched her openly now, some with fear, some with respect, some with something close to hope. During training that afternoon, Maya didn't hold back, not once. She moved faster, hit harder, thought further ahead, and for the first time since arriving at the academy, she felt light. Because once you stop hiding what you are, the world has no choice but to respond. Training changed after that. Not officially. The schedules stayed the same. The drills stayed the same. But the way people looked at Maya was different. No more jokes about humans being fragile. No more deliberate shoulder bumps in hallways. No more testing how far she could be pushed. Now, cadets watched carefully.
During combat simulations, Maya stopped pretending to struggle. She moved with purpose, clean and controlled. She didn't show off. She didn't humiliate anyone. She simply won, again and again. Vex was assigned to her squad 3 days later. The instructor didn't ask if that was acceptable. They both noticed. At first, the Krell barely spoke. He followed orders, kept distance, avoided eye contact. Pride still burned, but it had changed shape. During a close quarters drill, an opponent slipped past Vex's guard and nearly took him down. Maya intercepted without thinking. One strike, one joint lock, threat neutralized. Vex stared at her afterward. "You don't hesitate," he said. "I calculate," Maya replied. He thought about that longer than expected. Later, while cleaning equipment, he finally said, "My people believe strength is domination." Maya didn't look up. "That's the lazy definition." He frowned. "Explain." "Domination ends the moment someone stronger shows up. Control lasts longer. Protection lasts longer." Vex was quiet. That night, the Academy released the official report of the attack. Every major system picked it up. Extremist cell destroyed at Galactic Defense Academy. Human cadet confirmed central to defense. Human, singular. Messages began flooding in from Earth, from governments, from old military contacts she didn't know she still had. Maya ignored most of them. One message she didn't. Unknown sender. Your mother would be proud. She stared at it for a long time.
Graduation approached faster than expected. The final evaluation was live combat command. Simulated, but complex. Multi-species squad. Limited intel. Adaptive enemy. Maya was placed in charge. Some cadets looked nervous. Some looked relieved. She addressed them simply. "We don't win by being the strongest," she said. "We win by staying alive together." They followed her. Every decision was sharp. No wasted movement, no ego. When someone faltered, she adjusted. When plans broke, she rebuilt them on the fly. They completed the exercise in record time. No casualties. The instructors exchanged looks. Commander Thrun watched from above, hands clasped behind his back. When the results posted, Maya ranked in the top tier. No asterisk, no exceptions. That night, she stood alone on the academy grounds, staring up at the stars. For the first time, the future didn't feel like a weapon she had to aim. It felt open, and that scared her more than revenge ever had. Because when the galaxy finally sees you clearly, it starts asking what you'll do next. Graduation day arrived without ceremony for Maya. Not because it wasn't important, but because she didn't trust calm moments anymore. Calm always felt temporary. The academy courtyard was rebuilt enough to host the formation. Scars remained. No one bothered hiding them. The damage had become part of the place, a reminder that safety was earned, not given. Cadets stood in ranks, armor polished, posture perfect. Maya stood among them, still. She felt eyes on her, but not the old kind. This wasn't curiosity or doubt. It was expectation. Commander Thrun stepped forward. His voice carried easily across the courtyard. "Today, you leave as officers," he said. "Not because you are flawless, but because you have faced reality and survived it." One by one, names were called. Each cadet stepped forward, received their insignia, and returned to formation. When Maya's name echoed across the yard, something shifted. Cadet Maya Chen. She stepped forward. Thrun paused before speaking again. "For exceptional conduct under live hostile conditions, for decisive action in defense of this academy, and for leadership beyond expectation,
He opened a small case. Inside was a medal. Maya recognized it instantly.
The Star of Valor. A murmur spread through the ranks. This honor, Thane continued, is awarded in your name. He looked directly at her. But it recognizes a legacy that began long before today. He pinned the medal to her uniform. Maya's vision blurred. This award was once denied, Thane said quietly. It should have been given to Captain Sarah Chen. Silence. She held the line when retreat would have been easier. She chose lives over survival. That choice echoes here today. Maya swallowed hard. I accept, she said, for both of us. The ceremony continued, but she barely heard it. Later, as cadets dispersed, Vex approached her. He stopped a respectful distance away. You carry your strength differently now, he said. I don't carry it alone anymore, Maya replied. He nodded. That may be the difference. As the sun set, Maya stood alone again, metal heavy against her chest. For years, her name had meant one thing to her: loss. Now it meant something else: responsibility. And she finally understood. Her mother hadn't died to create a weapon. She had died to protect a future. And that future was standing here now. Because the galaxy didn't just gain a human officer, it gained a reminder it could never ignore. The celebrations didn't last long for Maya. They never did. While other cadets gathered in groups, laughing and planning postings, Maya slipped away from the noise. She walked the outer path of the academy grounds, where the lights were dimmer and the stars felt closer. The medal rested heavy against her chest. She still wasn't used to that. For years, she had imagined this moment ending differently. She thought revenge would feel loud, satisfying, final. Instead, it felt quiet. Commander Thane found her there. I had a feeling you wouldn't be celebrating, he said. Maya smiled faintly. I don't know how. That can be learned, just like everything else. They stood side by side, watching shuttles rise into the sky, carrying newly assigned officers to distant systems. You've been offered multiple commands, Thane said. Earth defense, frontier patrol, even council liaison roles. Maya shook her head. None of those feel right. No, he agreed. They wouldn't. She glanced at him. You already know where I'm going. Yes, Thane said. The outer colonies. Unstable regions, mixed species, weak defenses, places where treaties didn't always reach in time. They need people who understand predators, Maya said, and prey. Thane studied her. You don't see yourself as either anymore. No, Maya said. I see myself as the line between them. The wind shifted. Somewhere in the distance, training drones hummed as they powered down for the night. There's something else, Thane said. Records from the frontier wars were unsealed after the attack. Maya tensed. They confirm what you already suspected, he continued. Your mother saved more than just that station. Her actions delayed multiple assaults. Thousands lived because of her. Maya closed her eyes. She never told me, she said. She didn't need to, Thane replied. She showed you instead. Maya took a slow breath. I spent 9 years chasing the people who killed her, she said. I don't want to spend the next 9 chasing ghosts. Then don't, Thane said. Build something instead. She nodded. Later, back in her quarters, empty now, stripped of personal items, Maya packed her final bag. Uniform, field gear, knives. She paused, then added the medal. Not as a trophy, as a reminder. Outside the window, the academy lights dimmed, settling into night mode. It felt smaller now, finished. Tomorrow she would leave, not as someone running from the past,
but as someone carrying it forward. Because the last lesson her mother taught her was simple. Holding the line isn't about where you stand, but why. Maya Chen left the academy before sunrise. No crowd, no speeches, just a single transport waiting on the landing pad, engines humming softly. She paused once at the base of the ramp and looked back. From here, the Galactic Defense Academy looked peaceful again, rebuilt, reorganized, stronger for what it had survived. The scars were still there if you knew where to look, but scars meant healing had begun. She turned away and boarded the transport. The transport lifted smoothly, carrying her toward the outer systems, toward places that didn't make headlines, toward worlds where treaties failed and help arrived late, if at all. The kind of places her mother would have gone. In the quiet of the cabin, Maya finally let herself breathe. For years, her life had been narrow, focused, every decision shaped by loss and anger and waiting. Now, for the first time, there was space. Not peace, but choice. Her comm unit chimed once. New assignment confirmed. Outer Colony Defense. She accepted without hesitation. As the ship entered warp, Maya closed her eyes and remembered her mother. Not the soldier from reports or stories, but the woman who taught her how to stand, how to breathe under pressure, how to protect without becoming cruel. Strength isn't about winning, her mother used to say. It's about what you're willing to hold. Maya understood that now. Weeks later, news traveled fast across the galaxy. Human patrols began appearing in unstable sectors, not conquering, not retreating, standing where no one else wanted to stand. Conflicts de-escalated. Pirate fleets vanished. Extremist cells stopped spreading. Not because humanity was feared, but because humanity didn't flinch. Among cadets, soldiers, and commanders, one story kept circulating, about a human who faced predators without pretending to be prey, about a woman who ended a war she never started and then chose not to start another, about a name that meant something different now, Maya Chen. Out on the frontier, under unfamiliar stars, Maya stood on a station observation deck and watched ships come and go, civilians, traders, families, all moving safely. She touched the metal at her chest, not for pride, not for revenge, for remembrance. "I'm here," she whispered into the quiet. "I've got it now." The galaxy didn't answer. It didn't need to, because the predators had already learned the lesson. Sometimes the prey doesn't run. Sometimes it waits. And sometimes, when it finally stands its ground, it becomes the line nothing gets past. End. May this message strengthen your faith and renew your hope. Thank you for staying until the end. If this touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe to Astro Realms for more uplifting content. May God's blessings overflow in your life. See you soon.